Chief Minister Dr. Nepir Riova 14th NLA 7th session day concluding remarks dishe. Taibra legislators kanke indigenous rights are unity uphold kurubule kushe. Reservation policy laga porte meritocracy balance kurubule Census 2027 lobule aro Kuki, Kachari, Garo aro Mikir laga enumeration laga issue kanke address kushe. Illegal immigration check kurubo nimide online immigrant database khulibule propose kushe.
Speaker, sir, I beg to rise to participate and to give the concluding remark on the matter of urgent public importance under Rule 50, initiated by Kazuluzo Nino and supported by Dr. Isato Nehru and Dr. Sudam. I am grateful to our honorable members for initiating this discussion. As mentioned by Kazuluzo Nino, he brought a letter to me from the Northeast Indigenous People Association and wanted me to take up this issue. So I refer that to the Honorable Speaker, and I thank you for giving us time to discuss this thing in the House. It is very important that all the honorable members are concerned about the safety, the right, and the protection of our rich culture tradition and our indigenous status. I feel that Nagas, fortunately or unfortunately, when Britishers came to Naga Hills way back in 1832 onward, and we fought with the Britishers for more than 6 decades. When they ruled more than 200 years in the Indian subcontinent, they could defeat all the kingdoms and took over the whole continent. For Nagas, we don't have kingdom, we don't have leaders, we are not organized, but they have to fight with all the villages, tribal leaders, under tribal leaders' guidance, and concluded a peace treaty only at 1879. Though they had administered the Naga Hills, they did not interfere into our rural local bodies because they have seen that Nagas are different, unique. They have rich tradition, culture, and in fact, because of that, they feel that Nagas should be preserved, protect, and promote. And that's how they had passed that Bengal Eastern Trading Revolution Act, which we had discussed in this house and outside the house, 1873. In that, when you read, I think it is very clear that from the mainland India, people coming to Naga Hills or to the tribal areas, they need inner line permit. They can come with permission, but they cannot possess land, immovable properties. They cannot even buy or take away the antiques or artifacts which are our ancestors. If it is caught, fined and also jailed. So that kind of restriction. And that's how our system was developed, and in that Naga aspiration to be free from India, and finally the overrun Nagas that signed 16-point agreement. In there also, they had mentioned that we want to continue with the British law. Therefore, it is decided that Bengal Frontier Regulation of 1873 shall be enforced in Nagaland. That's what till today we are protected in Article 371A. We are very familiar with it. I want to read again. 371A, special provision with respect to the state of Nagaland. 1. Notwithstanding anything in this constitution, and in that, 1, number A, no act of parliament in respect of religious or social practices of the Nagas. 2, Naga customary law and procedure. 3, administration of civil and criminal justice involving decision according to Naga customary law. And 4, ownership and transfer of land and its resources shall apply to the state of Nagaland unless Nagaland Legislative Assembly by a resolution so decide. So, the white people, Britishers, when they came, they recognized us, they protected us. When we came under the Indian Union, they gave us the 371A special provision in respect of the state of Nagaland. We are well protected, and that's why even today we have this ILP system in our state. And like other hill tribals, Mizoram, Arunachal, and hills in Manipur, people, the Nagas. And therefore, I feel that today this confusion is created because we ourselves are not doing our duty. As a government, as a tribal law, as a civil society, as a responsible leaders living in the village or in any organizations. But I'm happy that today we are discussing this issue, and Dr. Chilito and Rosalizo, Jacob Zemomi, Dr. Isato Meru, Sugato A. Subi, Semang, and Kekhe Tole Human. And all of you who have spoken, it is good that you have revisited and creating awareness among us. So I think all the 60 honorable MLAs, we have to perform our duty, and we have to protect our people, but the government of the day decided that nobody, no organization should not point finger at the government, but should be a responsible leader in their own platform to protect the Nagas as a whole. We are all responsible. You cannot make somebody responsible for us. Yes, we are privileged. We have higher responsibilities. But I think I feel very strongly about that, and then I will come later. So regarding the reservation policy, I think we have to go back and look into very seriously. Going back to backward or forward, or reservation of jobs and higher educations by defining the backward area, the tribe, and the forward. Yes, it is very interesting, and I thank and appreciate Dr. Chuludo for bringing his suggestions in our discussion, and it is well taken. It is good that all the honorable members and our officers and people in the galleries with our journalists, it is being brought to our knowledge, and we appreciate that it makes us more aware and make us all responsible to see that we do maximum justice in reservation policy also, and also support the weaker section in our society. One thing I feel that I want to refer to and discuss is the Northeast Indigenous Peoples Organization, as mentioned by honorable speakers. Some state like Tripura or even in Assam, the indigenous people are backfooted because the migrants are more than them and they have taken over the government also, or there are elected members in the house holding responsibilities. They're in real trouble. But because of that Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act 1873, and to continue with that Bengal Frontier Regulation of 1873 shall be enforced in Nagaland. That's why we are better protected. Plus, Bengal Regulation Act is explicitly said that no outsiders, no non-indigenous can have land and immovable properties. Now you think of America, USA. If, say today, Donald Trump or Obama, all these people are also migrants to America, from Europe, from elsewhere. It's a country of migrants. And they are not indigenous. Mind you, I tell you, they are not indigenous. In Nagaland, we are recognizing only people who are known as indigenous in the country. We can consider. But that 1970, I don't know what that notification is, but if we want to, say example, Nepalese, Gorkhas, because they're here for a long time, how can you make them indigenous? Are they indigenous in India? Are they indigenous in their original kingdom of Nepal? I'm not against anybody, but our government, the past governments, if the officers did not think seriously, the indigenous is different, and other migrants who come and sit with us as permanent residents are different. You see, 60 house MLA, only one seat is open for any Indian citizen. 59 is reserved for indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland. Nagas inhabitants of Nagaland. And therefore, don't take the indigenous very casually. When we said the recognized tribe of Nagas, RIN, Registration of Indigenous Inhabitants of Nagaland, we have set up a committee. And who are the authorities? It is the village council. And his head GB, a church leader, a general secretary, and there is a board. They have to identify who is indigenous, who is not indigenous, who is native of that village. It is not the state government, nor it is an administrator. It is the village council who can certify that he is native of that village. Because I know everybody, everybody knows me, and I know everybody. So I think we should not be confused. I'll come back later to that. I have been carried away. I want to come back to that reservation area. In this reservation of jobs or studies, we made backward reservation, and therefore, what Dr. Tiludo had brought up, it's a real mind opening. It's things to really appreciate for speaking out his mind. To make two categories, but I would like to highlight, since the state government had earlier also come up with so many committees, and government is receptive to the concern of any issues raised by the tribal hosts, civil society, or our honorable members. In order to examine these issues comprehensively, earlier the state government has constituted various committees at different stages. To include, let me mention few. Bado Committee in 2005, Census Committee in 2008, and Remjentoi Committee, which examined and recommendations was given, and also again Census Committee in 2010. At present, the cabinet also had set up a cabinet subcommittee under the chairmanship of Honorable Deputy Chief Minister Sri Y. Patel to examine the reservation policy of the state government, and the committee submit its report on October 2021, broadly recommending that a comprehensive review of the state reservation policy should be done on the basis of 2021. But you know that Census 2021 has not come. Our latest is 2011. And we have seen the variation of 2001 and 2011, which has created a history in the census in the country. And the reservation policies, some views are given at this presence by a group of tribal leaders, and also the government feel that we are taking everything, and then even more pressure was given for review was the Konyak Union, because they are also one of the largest tribe, and they are the most deprived tribe because they have to wait for the roster to reach them. And so even the smallest tribe get roster, they get the same number of that roster, tribe-wise, not population ratio. And so they are facing problem. And like many issues are taken up. So while appreciating, we will go into all these things, and the good suggestion can be taken up. And as stated, on the demand of many agencies, including some tribal halls, we have set up a commission to look into all these grievances. In some of my statements in a public address, I mentioned that it would be good if we can do the administration reform and our backward quotas reservation also together, a whole Nagaland, not at piecemeal. That was our desire. But it is not a government decision, it is my opinion. But anyway, that can be worked out. So that should not be an issue. Now in that, we came to know that census will be conducted. Will be conducted next year, starting from, see, for 30 days, a house listing operation to be completed between 30 days, April to September 2026. And phase 2, the enumeration, the census, tentatively from 9th February 2027, and the completion should be done at the earliest by end of 2027. So that means, and now it is set in motion, preparation are going on, and therefore I feel that we should also make the best census this time, involving government agencies, our officers, our teachers, our civil societies, our tribal halls, our churches, like how we improved from 2001 census to 2011. We had a negative decadal growth, and therefore we should do much better. This is what I think. Now coming back to these ILP issues, rate issues, and therefore we got all the protections from the British time and from Government of India also. We are privileged indeed. And recently already notified the cabinet decision of notification dated 20th September 2024. In this, registration of indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland. It has been notified on 21st September 2027. And as I had mentioned, a member of the village council, the chairman or anybody as convener, HGB, senior most by age, president of village youth organization, head teacher, female VDP member, representative of village women organization represented from the care of that applicant also, and one representative from the church community. This is already notified. And so, for this, any Naga tribes, it is notified, and anybody who wants an indigenous certificate for himself or for his children, whether he is native from that village, his parenthood, ancestors and grandfathers, that descendant. But on the same date, we had issued another notification. In that, Nagas did not enumerate like writing an electoral roll, but set up a committee to certify the genuineness and recommendation of a person who is applying for indigenous. But for the other non-Naga tribes, Kuki, Kachari, Garo, and Mikir, we call it now Karbi. So they were asked to do the enumeration, and for the Nepali Gorkhas also, 31st December 1940 is the cut-off date, and for other 4 tribes were 1963. You see, unless you enumerate, then you have come before that, and if anything gives a wrong certification, that village council or that tribe, the authority, the case will become a criminal case against them. If they are certifying wrongly, falsely. Sadly, some tribe of these 4 went to court, to High Court. That why only 4 tribes should do enumeration? Why not all the Nagas also? I tell you, indigenous, I don't go against setting up a separate department. But Home Department is handling very well, and we are passing out all these responsibilities. And if necessary, we should set up. But for these people, unless they do enumeration from the cut-off year, judging from their electoral or their property, their patas, otherwise, how many cookies are there in the Northeast? Manipur incidents. And then there are a lot of migration. You know, in Mizoram, there are more than 1,000 refugees still now. Zoo cookies. But here, since they have villages, this Kuki, Kachari, Garo, Mikirs, they have villages, except Kukis who are spreading from Gaspani area to Peren Atipong. It is also the duty of our government, but the Zillion people, the district holds, they should support and work it out. How they are growing in fast speed, their habitations. Because if they come and take registration, they refuse to do enumeration, and they're going to stay in the court. But unless they do enumeration and get it correct document, as they will be termed as non-Naga indigenous inhabitants of Nagaland state. not Naga, non-Naga indigenous. So the category is also different. But if they refuse to do enumeration and if they want to bring many people to create their strength, then all of them will be go to negative, will not account. And any appointment, even in police or other jobs also, they have to bring indigenous. And unless the list of the enumeration, their name is not there, they'll get disqualified. They'll not get what they ought to get also if they don't cooperate with the government. So it is for everybody to know. And those who have come before even India independence, from plain people or from migrants who come and stay with us, they cannot get indigenous like us, like how I'm giving example. Even Obama, even Donald Trump, the most powerful person in this earth, planet, they're also not indigenous. They're citizens. Americans, indigenous people are, Red Indians. In Australia, the indigenous are Aborigines. And in every country, there are some indigenous people. Their category is different. Here, since 90 plus is indigenous, we feel that nothing can threaten us. Because British time also, we are protected. Indian Constitution protected. And therefore, if we are qualified, and then we can, if we work together, nothing can threaten us. Now we coming to ILP issues. From indigenous, since they cannot qualify indigenous, and since we are protected, they need inner line permit. So those who fall into inner line regulation category, who have come before 1963 statehood, they will get permanent residence. And permanent residents will be able to hold their properties when they can show they purchased their properties they had purchased before that. And if they are genuinely Indian citizens, then those who come and working now, investment, business, 1963 after also, they can come with provision. They can get a category of temporary residence. Temporary residence. All this notification of 14 August 2025, we have issued this notification. I think all the honorable members, the officers, HODs, AHODs, you have to educate our officers, our government servants. What cabinet has decision has taken? What the notification says? And like that. And then the contractors, the house owners, and people who are coming for works. Contractors under them, how many mechanics, carpenters, helpers, laborers, what category? You have to certify that under your firm, your company. So many people are working with me in this side and that side. You can segregate and you have to record, register by paying registration fee. Then the house owners has to certify that certain people are residing in a house, you have to certify. The shops they're running, house owner they have to certify. And they can get themselves registered. They will get business card or some enough time given to them, which can be renewal. Then the villages, all the villages in Nagaland, in your village, if there is any non-Nagas staying in your village as your worker, in your farm, or in your kheti, or working in your family, it is the village council who have to certify that so many people, these people are in our village, staying with this, with that, and they have to register with the administrative officer. They have to pay the registration fee. And 33% of the fee will be returned to the village council for maintaining the register. So that if everybody works, then there will be no problem. And then for transit, coming from train, from aeroplane, or traveling by highway, by their vehicle, their traveling ticket, there is no ILP required. It's a transit. And for government servants, non-Nagas, their working certificate, identity card, and their dependents will be issued. And no Indian citizen should be unnecessarily harassed. And in Dimapur, New Land, Chamukidima, in the border areas, say like Karbi neighbors or Assam neighbors, when they come for education, for health checkup, or for shopping, they only have to show their identity card that they are Karbis, they are from these places, and they can do that, come for their daily works. And for the daily wages, if they are coming daily, they can register themselves for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and pay fee, so that they only have to show their ID card of that registered, and then they can extend through online also. So all these things are issued, and every individual has to be responsible. Now interestingly, in this, the other day, APO president and team met me, and they said the notification is good, and the students and other agencies are checking, and they are creating problem. They are also imposing fine and taking money. So, to regulate, APO wants APO app on mobile system base, so that any people who stays in the villages or in the towns will be in their apps, so that they can also support the government. And I think this will be a model if a district can come up like that. In all the districts, then apps can be developed, so that a system will be developed. And so I think if we all work together, I think we can do a lot of things. And as I mentioned, if Naga people, like this morning we are discussing about 2-leaf pepper mill. Nagas were ignorant. I also made comments. So we trust some experts, some technicians, some big companies. So government undertaking, the paper production corporation, which is a government of India agency, they came and they got into trouble. And therefore, I think if we Nagas want to skill ourselves, want to work, and if we take over the small jobs also, if not the biggest thing, all these people who are running shop business and all kind of business, if our Naga people can take over this thing, they will be jobless. You don't have to chase them away. They will go away. But if we just chase them away, we have the power, we have the law on our side. But then it will be vacuum. There will be vacuum. So some house owners turn up and say, if you chase out all these non-Nagas who are doing business, now who will do business in a house? Whether they can pay rent properly, and whether they can do properly, whether our society will be in trouble or not. So if we really want to check these people, we have to start working. Our youth are very talented, highly educated, but we have to do from smallest to biggest. Now we announce meritocracy, NPSC, NSSB, everything competitive exam. The only department can handle. Why? Because grade 4 is district based. Because they are low, logistic, language, landowner issue. So all these, the grade 4 are respective district. And only directorate, secretariat. Other central institutions become common for everybody. And therefore, state government had introduced the health insurance scheme to remain healthy and to make everybody work. Microfinancing, that you can take loan without any collateral. The entrepreneur will pay only 10%. Government will pay 30% to make his burden light. The entrepreneur has to pay 10%. Government 30% and 60% from the bank. But that is payable after 5 years. And then if you are capable, if your programs are good, if you can get a skilling, a training, then you want to do that job. The bank will come forward because you are trained, you are a serious guy. You will start making profit. Everybody from self-help group to cooperative societies to individuals in farming, in veterinaries, in entrepreneurship. So everything is possible. And therefore, I feel that it's a time to wake up and start to work together. And to uphold the indigenous. Like today, people are coming to Nagaland to witness our tribal festivals, our hornbill festivals, because people come to see us because we can imitate others. No. They want to come and see our culture, rich culture, traditions, our song and dances, our beauty, our landscape, breathe of fresh air. Yesterday, in the break, I went to Lokem to participate in the Mong Mong festival. the Sangtang people, in their traditional dresses, the women, the men folks, the way they sing and dance is very charming, very attractive. We named Tungsan as a cultural district because at that time it was accumulation of many tribes, very, very rich in their culture, their song and dances. I was fascinated. Then I came back and I attended the Coffee Board. Coffee Board of India, they have the executive national level meeting in Kohima. And because we are growing coffee, they heard and they wanted to see. Today they are making field visits. And they assured me that they will help our state. They want our state to be identified as a destination of coffee and coffee producing. This year in the Hornbill Festival, we will make a coffee festival separately. How many producers are there, how much we are doing, and how it is being coffee beans, roasting, and taste of coffee. So, high appreciation. They want to come and partner with us because the farmers, the producers, they are mostly in that member. There were 2 MP from Lok Sabha and 1 IS cadre is a member secretary. And so, those are professionals. We have so much opportunities. Our lands are fertile. But we are complaining. For everything we complain without doing anything. So, starting with the elected members and our learned officers and government servants, let us all together work and let all these migrants go away, will occupy their place. That will make our Naga people proud and our indigenous pride will remain. Thank you, Speaker Sir.
Nagaland TV, Sop Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.